Hello folks, my name is Mark, this is Mark's Toy Reviews, how you guys doing? And today we are looking at the Legends of Darkness vampire figure from Zoloworld. So if you don't know what Zoloworld is, it's an independent toy company that makes figures inspired by classic Remco 5.5 action figures. So there were a couple of different lines that Remco had back in the day, Warrior Beasts, and another one was called Pirates of the Galaxies, and some other ones like that. And they make figures that are homages to those figures, a lot of them using the same molds, stuff like that. And these are based on a group of knockoff Masters of the Universe toys called Speclatron back in the day. So they're basically recreations, in a sense. They're not really recreations like exactly, but they're homages to the original toys. And I think they look pretty freaking awesome. So let's just take a look at this card backing here so you can kind of see Legends of Darkness, right? Let me kind of move this guy back just a little so that we can actually get a look at this guy. Legends of Darkness, really nice hand-drawn artwork. Okay, here's our figure. He's a vampire. He has vampire teeth. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Try to do this without getting all that glare on there. Comes with a big poleaxe looking thing. Not bad at all. And let's take a look at the back. Here's a bunch of different other figures in the line. So first we have the Legends of Darkness. There's a couple of different guys. The Devil, the Champion, the Vampire, and Death. And then these guys here are Warrior Beasts. And the other line, which are basically used, they like reuse some of the same parts and things like that, weapons, that sort of thing. So you have like different monsters, you know, there's a skull guy, there's a tomahawk, there's a snake guy, stuff like that. So anyway, you can get these online at Zoloworld.com. I don't really see them in stores very much. And they're actually very, very nice. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. Alright. It seems like such a shame to be tearing into these really nice packaging like that. But, you know, I gotta liberate my action figures. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Whoa, okay, he just fell right out. He didn't have any rubber bands on him or anything. Alright, figure just comes with all that's shown. Unfortunately, there's no, like, inserts or comics or anything like that, but that's okay. And he's looking pretty cool. So the original gimmick with Speclatron back in the day was that they were hollow and they had glitter water on the inside. And so it was like, you know, you'd see like floating glitter and stuff. So these do not have liquid in them. But what it is it's basically a clear plastic sort of cast. And it's got glitter inside of the plastic, so you can kind of see it there. So they're sort of like these glitter warriors. And I remember those, man. Speclatron were, like, weird. I never had one, but I do remember seeing them in the stores. And the thing is like, you know, I only had a choice of getting, like, one toy or something. So it was like, I can get a He-Man toy, or I could get one of these knockoffs, and I always went with the He-Man toys. Which is too bad because Speclatron toys are worth a lot of money right now. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And since I will never be able to afford any of those, and they're so incredibly rare that you never see them come up. Even when you do see them come up, they're like not, you know, they're usually broken or they're missing like their weapons or something. Missing their armor. So it's like, well, these guys look pretty close to it. Especially that face. I think that is actually the same face. I think he did a recast or something, because that looks just like it. So I'm really kind of cool there. So Zoloworld toys are not like custom figures. They're actually mass-produced. But you don't see them in stores very much. I mean, I think maybe you might see them in like specialty comic book stores here and there. But it's not like you can go down to Target and buy them. So you do see occasionally little flaws here and there. Like, for example, this guy's got like a little paint flaw on his leg. But, you know, something like that, as long as I usually don't care myself, as long as it's like, you know, not a big problem. I mean, I could probably cover that up if I really wanted to. The rest of the figure is looking really good, you know. It's got really high quality plastic, really good paint job. The head is a little bit rubbery, you know, not as much as like an old school MOTU head or something like that. But it's pretty cool. You know, the armor is like made out of like sort of a more bendable plastic. You know, the legs don't have rubber bands. Instead, they have that sort of crossbar thing that you saw on Remco figures back in the day. So they're very, very nice. And let's take a look at his weapon right here. Okay, very clean sculpt, I guess you would say. And let's try to put that in his hand. Okay, so one thing I did notice with some of these figures is that sometimes their hands are a little tough to open, and it looks like his actually opened pretty well. So yeah, that is actually pretty nice, you know, and I'm actually very happy with that. Because, like I said, I'll never ever be able to afford the original ADAC figure from Speclatron, so this is kind of the next best thing. So I do have a couple of other figures from Zoloworld that I think I might as well take this opportunity to show off. This is a skeleton figure from their Lords of the Underworld, I think what it is. Something, Warriors of the Underworld or something like that line. And this is actually based on a Remco figure from the Pirates of the Galaxies line back in the 80s, right? So those actually were intended to be sort of like tangentially related to begin with. And you can see these, I can't remember the exact name of this character, you know, but basically it's just a skeleton. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then I also have the Death figure from the Legends of Darkness, which this guy is also based on another Speclatron toy. And it's based on my personal holy grail, which is the Deathlore figure from Speclatron, which is sort of like a purple kind of Skeletor ripoff, right? And Deathlore is the one toy that I would, you know, that's my personal holy grail. And of course, you can never find it anywhere. And when it does come up, it sells for like $1,000. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding when I talk about how expensive Speclatron toys are. So, this, of course, is the only way I'm ever going to be able to own anything that's even close to a Deathlore or an ADAC. And I think they look really good with each other. And I think I'm going to have to pick up the other two that are in the line as well. There's a devil one, and then there's one based on the champion or whatever, you know, the hero guy from Speclatron. And they're just going to have to be my sort of Speclatron stand-in Urstazes. Right. But I think they're really good. You know, they've got really good plastic. You know, they're very durable. That's another thing. Sometimes when you get these sort of like collector figures, adult collector figures like this, they're all like fragile and that kind of thing because they're not meant to be handled. Usually they're banking on people just leaving them in the packages and then displaying them or whatever. And these guys, it looks like he made them so that you can take them out and handle them, you know, and even play with them if you wanted to, right? So they're really cool. Okay, now I do want to show you a couple of vintage Remco figures so that you can kind of see where we're coming from here. This is an old school Warrior Beasts figure from 1982 or whatever. This is the Skullman. This guy I got at a bargain because his leg was busted, but you can kind of see, like, you know, they've got the same sort of arms and legs or whatever, you know, so you can see like a lot of the pieces were molded, like were used over and over. Here's another guy from the Warrior Beast line. You know, Warrior Beast was really weird, and I think I'll do a dedicated video to it eventually once I get all of the figures. Right now I only have like 4 of them, so. But you can see they fit in rather perfect. You know, if you were to buy these guys and put them right next to the classic vintage ones, it's like you can't even tell. So these guys are up on Zoloworld.com right now, and they usually go for around 30 to 35 bucks each. You can get these on eBay too, but eBay aftermarket prices are highly inflated, so I recommend going to the source and picking them up. They don't hang around forever though, so if you want one, you better buy them before they sell out. Anyway, that's all I got, folks. Adios.